Hello, my name is Kyle and welcome to the channel. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about Elon Musk finally taking over Twitter, walking into the headquarters yesterday with a sink in hand, and the following day giving his best portrayal of Michael Corleone in the last 10 minutes of The Godfather by taking out the top brass at Twitter. It was dramatic. It was powerful. It was making a statement. He is coming in there to clean house and to change the ways of this company, which we all know has been a cesspool for the past 5 years. And so we're going to talk about that and cover the people that he actually fired and who they were and why they were fired. And also let's get into some other things like the letters that employees actually sent to Elon a few days ago demanding certain things. So the first article I'm going to cover is from Red Liberty Media. It comes to us from Angel Quiroz. He says here, Elon Musk has completed his $44 billion deal to buy Twitter. The world's richest man is now in charge of one of the world's most influential social media platforms. That's absolutely correct. He made waves on the internet by posting a video of himself carrying a literal kitchen sink into Twitter headquarters. You just saw that a minute ago. Musk fired CEO Parag Agrawal and 2 other executives. I'm going to cover here a statement from Project Veritas citing that there is no free speech at Twitter. Twitter is commie as F. And Musk said he has plans to rethink Twitter's content moderation policies in service of a more maximalist approach to free speech. The billionaire has also said he disagrees with Twitter's practice of permanent bans, raising the possibility that a number of previously banned users could reemerge on the platform, namely Donald J. Trump. It's going to be a fun ride for sure. Let's come over here to CEO Parag Agrawal. Remember this guy? He's had this tweet right here. He said this. He said, quote, if they are not going to make a distinction between Muslims and extremists, then why should I distinguish between white people and racists? This is one of the first things this guy tweeted once he became the CEO of Twitter. And you wonder why today he got fired. He also was quoted in Technology Review in 2020 saying that Twitter and other private companies isn't, quote, bound by the First Amendment, unquote, leading some conservative commentators to speculate that Twitter's censorship of right-wing sources will worsen. And we know from history, it did worsen. So we know pretty much why he was fired. So who else was fired? Well, you have Vijay Gadi. And what's interesting about her, she actually liked a tweet that Elon had posted a day before. He said, meeting a lot of cool people at Twitter today, and she was one of the ones that liked that. And so why was she fired? Looks like she had a $17 million a year job, and Elon expressed concerns or no confidence in the top management of Twitter. The Tesla CEO had taken potshots at her for censoring the critical Hunter Biden story. Also, she played a role in terminating President Donald Trump's account on Twitter. An article Politico had reported that Gadi broke down in tears before learning about the possibility of a change in ownership in the microblogging platform. So she was already freaking out. She was crying about this. Here is another article about this. Top Twitter lawyer cries at meeting about Elon Musk's takeover. So she knew what was going to go down. And then the last person that was fired that we know of right now was the CFO, Ted Siegel. Not much to be said about him other than the fact that he warned people that their bonuses would be half of what they expected. So I'm assuming that based on what Elon had said before, that these people were warranted termination based on his lack of confidence in the leadership. And like I said before, there is fears that there could be a termination of up to 75% of the current Twitter employees. So that is something that we can definitely keep an eye on. And the New York Times had an article saying that they predict a wild ride if Musk buys Twitter. He will put a thumb on the scale of the 2024 election. Look, no way. It's no way possible that Twitter would ever put their thumb on any election. Twitter would never do that. So why would the New York Times worry about that? It's funny how these leftists always accuse us of things that they're already either doing or planning on doing. And yeah, so the thumb on the election of 2024, that's funny, New York Times. Anyway, the guy's name is Kevin Roos. He warned that if billionaire Elon Musk purchases Twitter, society will be in for a wild ride as Musk brings back President Donald Trump and fires the current CEO and alters politics going forward. Now, we've already seen him firing the CEO, so that actually did happen. He also said here, he predicted Musk will fire the current Twitter CEO, check, that the deal will prompt a revolt from its progressive employees, check, we'll get to that in a second, that Trump and his allies with a history of quote unquote hateful views and harassment will be reinstated on the platform. Well, we haven't seen that yet. And I resent the fact of hateful comments. See, anything hateful to the left is anything that they don't agree with. You know, if I say that a baby should be able to live, that is a hateful comment to the left. Hate is a term that's overused and is only used to exploit and to shut down conversation, especially when it comes from the left. He also said that from reading from Mr. Musk's text, it's clear he believes that Twitter's leadership is weak and ineffective, you think, and lacks the ability to carry out his vision for the company. Well, that's why he got rid of 3 of them already. He added, if Mr. Agrawal, which was the CEO, doesn't immediately resign once the deal is complete, I'd expect Mr. Musk to fire him on day 1. Wow, this guy's like a rocket scientist. I mean, come on. And name himself or close ally as a replacement. The author also noted that it's hard to see how he could fire Mr. Agrawal without also clearing out most or all of the company's top leadership and installing his own slate of loyalists. I love how he uses these words. I mean, I'm not saying he's wrong, but it's slanted journalism because they're speaking the language to the left to issue what, I would consider dog whistles of him being the typical white male, racist, whatever. They're going to try and put that out there, hateful. That's all out there as the narrative. They're putting it under the tone because they're too weak and they're too cowardly to say what they really mean without any sort of backing or whatever. And so that's what they're doing. And so that article is what it is, but it's pretty accurate so far. Supposedly he was planning on firing 75% of the Twitter employees. So what they did was they put together a form letter. And so in America's Newsroom, this author by the name of Vivek Ramaswamy said this. He said, there's been a lot of success in the last 10 years, but that success has bred entitlement. Entitlement bred laziness. And now victimhood fits laziness like a glove. Let's check out these letters. So let's get into this open letter that the employees sent to Elon Musk in an open letter. And I got to read some of this stuff. It's really interesting, the mindset from these people. This is from a tweet from Raheem Kassam. He says here, an unknown number of Twitter employees are circulating an open letter to Elon Musk demanding they be allowed to keep all their jobs, pick journalistic and geopolitical winners and losers, and retain all their employee benefits. The participation trophy generation, he absolutely nails it. The entitlement on this is absolutely insane. Okay, now I can see why these people want socialism because they don't want to do anything. They want the state to provide everything for you. Unfortunately, Twitter is a company. Their job is to make money, to make a profit, and to give that money to their shareholders. And they have a legal duty to do those things. And that takes employees who do a task, who help the company meet those goals. And if you can't provide those skills to meet those goals, then your job is no longer safe. And especially if your attitude is like this, it's definitely going to jeopardize someone like Elon Musk, who is an entrepreneur, who is a go-getter, who works hard, who understands the value of free labor. And that's a principle that goes way back to the Puritans. It goes back to Abraham Lincoln. It goes back to Frederick Douglass. It goes back to Booker T. Washington. Free labor is what built this country. And let me point out what free labor is not. It's not slavery. So some of you guys, I know what you're thinking. Oh, he's talking about slavery. No. Free labor is the notion that you have nothing else but your healthy body, that through your labor, you can raise yourself through work, no matter how poor you are, that through work and through your free labor that you're providing for yourself, you can elevate yourself up to the middle class and beyond, because working provides product provides profit provides money, and therefore you can come up in that mindset. That is free labor in the context of what I'm saying here. It goes back to Booker T. Washington. Free labor is what built this country, along with innovation and scientific method coming over from the scientific revolution, the principle of the hidden hand by Adam Smith. And those things are what made this country fantastically, insanely great. That was my Steve Jobs homage there. But no, let's take a look at this here. And I want to show you what the arrogance of this letter is. And I'm not going to cover all of it. But in highlighted here, it says, we, the undecided Twitter workers believe the public conversation is in jeopardy. Twitter's ability to serve the public conversation is helping to uplift independent journalism in Ukraine and Iran. So they're seeing themselves as some super organization that's just helping the world. It's our job. If you take our jobs from us, the world's going to fall apart, especially in these areas that we are so concerned about. But what it comes down to is preserving our benefits, okay? And the dignity we demand, transparent, prompt, and thoughtful communication around our working conditions. So look, guys, it doesn't work that way. It does not work that way. This is not the government. This is a private company. I worked for the federal government for many, many years. And one thing I learned from leaving the federal government and going into corporate America was that it was no longer budget driven like it was in the government. It was profit driven. And there was a stock ticker on the wall going across. The company I worked for was actually in the Fortune 500. And it was a pressure situation because it was a textile company and it was a big company, but it was still volatile to the market. And so that was the big change that I had seen. And that's just what it is. That is what it is. And I think people need to understand that and learn that in school. Civic classes should be good to be taught. And this holding of hands and this trophy mentality that you have to have a trophy is hurting our kids. And obviously this generation is learning the hard way. So you guys tell me, what do you think about Elon Musk taking over Twitter? Some people are, they're waiting to see whatever. They're not happy, whatever. I think it's a cesspool. And I think on the short term, this has to be celebrated, period. I'm sorry. Who knows what's going to happen a month from now? But right now, I think it's something to be celebrated because of what it's done to help destroy the fabric of our society over the past 4 years in the misinformation that they've done and the damage that they've done and the careers and the lives that they've tried to wreck and damage. So let me know what your thoughts are. I'd be curious to know what you think. And until then, I will see you guys in the next video.